So I'm sitting here watching the Miami Dolphins right now. The Miami Dolphins are 6-3 at the moment, and in they've won 6 out of their last 7 games. And I gotta tell you something, guys. It was not long ago when that team was not very good. I mean, it really wasn't that long ago. It was literally last year. They were in essentially the same exact position as the Jaguars 1 year ago, where they were deemed as a tanking team, trading away guys like Laramie Tunsil, Kenny Stills, Kenyon Drake, essentially anybody that had any kind of trade value. They were basically the same team as the Jaguars with one exception. They had a new head coach. They had Brian Flores as their head coach, and they kind of rallied around him. But you look at the Dolphins now, just 1 year after that, they are sitting there. They're not in the hunt for a playoff spot. They are essentially in the playoffs. If the season were to end today, they are a wild card team. And right now they're fighting for the AFC East championship. And I'm also looking around, man. The Arizona Cardinals right now are good. They're a good team. It was 2 years ago when they were literally drafting number 1 overall. You know, they were the worst team in the NFL 2 years ago. And then these guys go out there, and what do, man? They go out there and they get their franchise quarterback. You know, Tua Tagovailoa over for the Dolphins, and then Kyler Murray over there for the Cardinals. And the Jaguars right now, it sucks because, and I've said it so many times, that this is a theme of the Jaguars, man. The Jaguars need to lose. The Jaguars, and the central thing about this video is that the Jaguars can literally be good and competing for a playoff spot next year. Next year, the Jaguars can be good. But really, at the moment, man, all the Jaguars can do this season is just to lose every Sunday. And I hate to say it. I hate it because, you know, that Packers game, man, it would have been so cool for the Jaguars to win that game. It was in Lambeau. Nobody gave us a chance. We had a new quarterback back there. You know, we have some young guys playing good, and it would have been fun to win that game. But, you know, as we're 3 days removed from it, it's Wednesday right now. We're already looking forward to next week where the Jaguars play the Steelers. It's definitely best that the Jaguars did not win that game. You know, I mean, Sunday it would have been fun. During the game it would have been fun. At the end of the game it would have been fun. You know, but it's almost like paying for a hooker, man. I don't know how much hookers cost, whether it be $300, $400, $500, whatever it may be. It's, you know, fun while it lasts, you know, while you're over there doing it. But, you know, when a couple days after, when your car payment hits, when your energy bill comes in, then it's like, you know what? Maybe that wasn't the best thing for me to do. It's literally the same exact thing with the Jaguars right now, man. The Jaguars, I mean, the nightmare scenario right now for the Jaguars, because look, there's some good quarterbacks coming out. Obviously, the consensus 1 and 2 are Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. But then after that, you know, you got the kid out of BYU, Zach Wilson, I think his name is. He's kind of emerging. Kyle Trask is coming up there in a Heisman race. You also have Trey Lance. But man, with the Jaguars, with the luck that the Jaguars have, man, they're gonna get the project guy. If 2 out of 3 of those guys are good, they're gonna get the guy that's not good, and it's not going to turn out good, man. I just want the Jaguars to get the slam dunk quarterback. I want the Jaguars to get one of these guys that are going to pan out good, because I really think that Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are both going to pan out. I really do think so, but I don't want to go out there and get the project guy, because like I said, man, with the Jaguars' luck, they are not going to turn out good. So that's the main thing, man. Jaguars, they have to get a good quarterback. And then once you get a good quarterback in here, then instead of players like Allen Robinson and Yannick Ngakoue and Jalen Ramsey wanting out, you all of a sudden get players that want to come in here. I mean, just look at last Sunday. Kyler Murray throws the deep ball over to DeAndre Hopkins. You know, is DeAndre Hopkins, I know he was traded over there, but they're not bringing in players like that. You know, if Josh Rosen is out there playing quarterback, you know, all of a sudden you get a franchise quarterback in here, and look, like, When DeAndre Hopkins gets drafted to the Cardinals, or gets traded to the Cardinals, the first guy he thinks of is Kyler Murray. When what's it called? DK Metcalf gets drafted to the Seahawks, the first guy he thinks about is Russell Wilson. When Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets drafted to the Chiefs, the first guy he thinks of is Patrick Mahomes. What about like when the Jaguars draft C.J. Henderson? I bet when the Jaguars drafted C.J. Henderson, he did not know who. Like, he probably didn't know any players on the Jaguars. Like, let's be honest. I mean, he looked like he was on suicide watch after being drafted by the Jaguars. You know, you want this to be a destination place, and with today's NFL, you are not going to be successful if you don't have a franchise quarterback. I know the Minshew and Luton kind of truthers and stands are kind of slowly dissolving out there, but I mean, you know, let's get our franchise quarterback and kind of build around that. And I guess the next important thing that the Jaguars had to do to be able to win next year is, man, you got to bring in a good GM and a good head coach. I mean, at the end of the day, Dave Caldwell's record, you can make all the excuses for him. It's just not good. His record it's like 30-something and 80-something. And then, you know, Doug Marrone's is not very good either. You know, fire the GM, fire the head coach. The GM is going to be able to really, it's almost like a build a Madden team, because he's got all this draft capital, they have all this kind of money, and really with the young quarterback, I think it's a pretty good situation right now, because, you know, the Jaguars offensive line is actually, I'm not going to say it's like a top 5 unit, top 10 unit, but it is good enough to win, man. And really, I think the Jaguars, when it comes to money, invest your money, because the Jaguars have the most cap space next year. Invest that money in the offensive and defensive line, because the offensive line is a foundation. You don't want a situation like the Bengals with Joe Burrow, where Joe Burrow is just getting sacked and hit around and just beat up, and he's not able to succeed because of that. You know, the offensive line has been playing pretty good. Maybe not in the second half of the last game, but it definitely has its moments. So, you know, I say, hey, maybe keep around Brandon Linder, maybe keep around Andrew Norwell, maybe re-sign Cam Robinson to another deal. Then you can still draft guys. You can still bring in some, you know, lower money guys to maybe compete. You know, keep drafting your players so you can eventually replace these guys. And then on defensive line, spend money and draft players. That's my really philosophy with it. And then after that, the back ends, they'll just handle themselves. You know, even the Jaguars secondary playing better. C.J. Henderson has been good. Sidney Jones is really emerging after we scooped him from the Eagles. Really after they cut him this year after waivers went through. So, man, like, the Jaguars, it's just, when I look over there at the Dolphins and Cardinals and these teams that's having success, man, it just shows that you can turn around these teams quick. The Jaguars have a decent roster. I mean, there's very limited depth, but the Jaguars, man, plethora of picks, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 3rd-round pick. They got 2 4th-round picks, and hey, right now there's a lot of people are pushing right now for Yannick Ngakoue to make the Pro Bowl, because if he does, the Vikings 5th-round pick that we got for that trade becomes a 4th-round pick. So, man, it's the Jaguars. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about this team right now. I know I've been Mr. Negative, but I'm optimistic about this team. I like the young foundation, but we've had young foundations before. We've had teams with a young team with a lot of promise, but the one thing we haven't had is a quarterback. Never had a franchise quarterback in my lifetime. Never. And I'm tired of it, man. Bring in a guy. Like I said, man, I want the Jaguars to draft the Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. And then the next day I'll go out there and get a jersey. And then, you know, I'm 27 years old right now. I want to be like, you know, I want to be 38 years old and having to make the decision, man, should I get a new jersey? Because this one, like, you know, the number's peeling off a little bit. Like, I got a little bit of coffee on it a couple years back that hasn't been able to come out of it. You know, should I maybe get a new jersey? Yeah, I want to make those kind of decisions. Not like, oh, you know, should I get this guy's jersey? Is he going to be gone next year? I don't know. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the dilemma that we're in. But, you know, right now, Jaguars, I know it's tough, but we gotta root for this team to lose. We can't win games, because right now the Jaguars sit at 1-8. say the Jaguars, you know, have a winning record next to this, you know, for the rest of the year. If they go 4-3, instead of being 115, we go 5-11. Guys, that's not building a winning culture. I'm sorry, man. That's not building any kind of winning team. It's not. 5-11, then all of a sudden you're drafting, you know, 8, 9, 10, then, you know, you had to get one of these guys that falls, or you have to use some of your draft capital to move up. You know, I'm not here for it. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Fire Dave Caldwell, fire Doug Rohn, and then get your quarterback. Keep losing, and then hell, man, I'm going to be the most optimistic Jaguars fan out there. But thanks, guys, for watching. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.